Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working with you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Business Builders here on 321 Westerly, brought to you by Lathrop Insurance. My name is Ben Barber, and today I am joined by the incredible Donna Simmons, real estate agent with Mott Chace Sotheby's International Realtors. She is based in Watch Hill. How are you?
Oh, Ben, thank you for inviting me. It's been a really solid year, and it's a great day to be here. It's a perfect day in Westerly, Rhode Island, one of our most beautiful cities in the state.
I agree with that. I would say the most, but I am biased. So what is your favorite part about living here, about living in this area, in this general area, Southern New England?
Westerly has so many wonderful things to offer. On the one hand, we have the Westerly Education Center, which is a great way for people in our community and in other communities to be trained at a very high level for specific jobs at places like Electric Boat. And it's a wonderful addition to our community. The arts are fabulous in this community, anywhere from the Knickerbocker to the United Theater, to our Westerly Collaborative for artists. It is becoming a regional mecca for culture, music, and the arts, and it's exhilarating to be a part of it.
We had some folks from the United Theater here talking about the Christmas Spectacular the other day, and tomorrow night at the Nick, if you're watching this when it airs on Friday, November 15th, tomorrow, Saturday, November 16th, check out the Nick All-Stars, the Knickerbocker All-Stars at the Nick. At I believe 8 p.m. It's going to be fantastic. They did the Nick 90th there. I mean, just world-class musicians. There's so many fun things to do in the art scene around here. And you've done a bunch of stuff with the United as well. And I know that you love the art scene around here. You love all of this stuff. How did you get interested in all of that?
Well, I've always been somebody interested in the arts, and particularly in music. And a number of years ago, I was asked to be on the board for the United, and have been able to be a part of watching it go from being the old vaudeville theater of yore to this wonderful arts center. And I think, there's something about Westerly that's always had sort of this core music, linkage. And with the Knickerbocker for years, that has stayed alive and grown. And the United Theater is just bringing in all sorts of music, from the opera to jazz to the funk to all kinds of music. And it's wonderful that it has a great reception by all kinds of categories. So I'm very excited to be a part of it. And I think it will help us continue to grow as a community. You can tell by the number of restaurants that are now in Westerly. When I moved here 24 years ago, there weren't the kind of restaurants that there are here now. And about 2 months ago, I actually sat next to a couple who had taken the train down from Providence to come here to go to the restaurant and bar scene. And when they finished, they were getting back on the train and going up to Providence. So that shows the power of and the draw for a place like our community.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you get into real estate?
I sold the condos for the developer, Mr. Royce, at the Ocean House. And that began in 2010. And I sold those for about 3 years. And when they all were sold, I was on a trip in Europe, and one of the owners of the Ocean House condos called me and said, I think we're going to sell one of our condos. They own two. So I said, well, I'm sorry to hear that. And she said, would you sell it for me? And I said, well, I can't. I'm not a real estate agent. I work for the developer, was able to sell initially. To which she said, why don't you go get your license, and I'll hold off on selling this until you finish. And I said, okay. So that's how I ended up getting into real estate. And I have to tell you, Ben, it has been just such an enjoyable part of my life because I love the connections with other individuals. I love being able to help them find something that fits their lifestyle, or to sell a house because they need to move for certain family obligations. And it's just sort of a fountain of never-ending pleasure.
Yeah.
And a little bit of terror in the middle of it. But it's a great, great business to be in.
Yeah, that's I love it. And a little bit of never-ending terror. I feel that deep in my soul. I feel like you couldn't pick a better area to be a realtor in than having Westerly, because you have and this area in general, because you have the beaches and you have the beach homes and you have the high ticket places, and then you have really just gorgeous homes in sort of the main area of Westerly, and then you have homes that are more affordable for just working people that are trying to first time home buyers and stuff. So there's a little bit of everything here, and that's got to be a great opportunity for someone who's getting into real estate, and it's also a wonderful place to come live, and the schools are always improving and getting better, and it's a wonderful place to raise your family, as generations of people can tell you. So it's one of the best places. I've always thought of it as like a Goldilocks situation, we have just enough of everything.
Oh, I think that's a really great way to look at it. And I think we're really blessed with the beautiful beaches that we have. Like most communities, we're beginning to see affordability being an issue because we've seen prices increase so much in the last 7 years. And in fact, if you go back about 7 years ago, we're looking at more than a 70% increase in the price of a single family house.
Yeah.
For the state of Rhode Island, we're at about $480,000. I believe in 2017, the average in the state was about $260,000. So that's an 80% increase in a 7-year period of time. So it is putting some strain on people being able to buy their first home, or to be able to move from perhaps a small house into a larger house, combined with interest rates being a little bit higher too, that make it so much more expensive to have the same $100,000 mortgage or $150,000 mortgage that they had 3 years ago. So it's always a balancing act, and it's something that we as agents really try to address and come up with some ways to help our clients, either if it's a first home situation, to get in maybe into a condominium first so that they're in the market. And as you know, and the market knows, is that with all of this inflation, as horrible as it is to pay $7 for, a pound of butter, the other side of it is that if you did have a house 4 years ago, inflation has also helped take up that the price of that house, and the amount of equity that you have in it. It doesn't make up for butter being $7 a pound, mind you.
Right.
But it is a fact that we're dealing with in the marketplace. The market has still been very stable in the sort of $400,000 to $900,000. There are fewer homes. The inventory is smaller, and therefore prices have gone up. They've ticked
Right.
up a little bit, which is, again, a challenge of affordability. But it's still a good time for people to get in if they buy wisely. And that is one of the benefits, if you're a buyer, of having a real estate agent, because they know the market and not just that one house. And they can give you the relative perspective of where, is this house, maybe 20,000 over what it should be? Are you willing to pay that? Here's what it might end up being in terms of an additional mortgage. And all those things are really important considerations.
And there's so many things that as a buyer or a seller that we wouldn't know, ourselves not being people that are day traders in this business. And most people aren't looking up real estate trends every day. Most people aren't looking at the interest rates every day. Most people aren't looking at, what's the median house price right now in Rhode Island, and what is the interest rate on that? How much do I need to put down? What other offers are there? What sort of incentives are there? A year ago, maybe, the government here in Rhode Island had the $17,500 first-time homebuyer grant. That was great, and then gone. And because those grants come and go, but there are so many things that, as a buyer or seller, as one of the lay people, I don't know the word, like us, that we wouldn't necessarily know. Like contacting a professional real estate agent such as yourself, someone who lives and breathes this stuff every day, are really some of the only ways that you're going to know the answers to these questions. And to I was talking with some mortgage lenders yesterday about the last thing you want to do is find your dream home and go, that's it, that's the one that I've fallen in love with, that's the one that I want, and then not be able to afford it and not have thought about that stuff all the way through. Right. So calling a realtor, calling someone like Donna and starting that process, she's going to be able to point you in the right direction. She's going to be able to look at those things, hook you up with a mortgage lender, and figure out exactly what you can afford and what you can do and where you can look. And there are certain things that can work to your advantage.
Well, that is true. And real estate agents can also help you prevent some of the pitfalls. I had a client a number of years ago. I was selling her condo, and her request was, can we sell it? Can we get an offer in the next 3 weeks? Because a neighbor down the street is selling our house, and we want to do it without an agent. And I want to be able to buy that house from her. And I said, of course, I'll do my best. We were able to get an offer within that 3-week period of time. She was able to buy the house on her own, and it was a friend to friend sort of transaction. The couple of things that I said to her is, if you're getting a mortgage, just make sure you shop around and look at rates. And there are 2 or 3 different mortgage companies and banks that you may want to talk to. And I said, the second thing is to get an inspection. She did not get an inspection. And about 6 months later, when I checked in with her to see how she was doing, I said, how's the house? And she said, the house is great, except when I moved in, I realized that one of the walls was literally crumbling and had to be shored up. And she spent far more on that than she would have paid in a commission, or that the seller at that point would have paid in a
Right.
commission. And so it was a tough lesson for her to learn. But, that's something that, and 99% of people just automatically go to an inspection. But if you're out there, people, and you're looking to buy a house, it's expensive to have an inspection. But then you also have a recourse. If you get a clean inspection and then you come back and 2 months later find something that should have been revealed in that inspection, you do have a recourse. And that's how it works. And we just want to protect our clients out there.
Yeah, absolutely. How long? So why Mott Chace?
Mott Chace is a Sotheby's International Realty is it's one of the largest in the state. In fact, we're number 2 in the state. I believe we have 8 offices now, including one in Massachusetts. So we cover all of Rhode Island and the southern Massachusetts area. The image of the company, Sotheby's International Realty, is something that is very distinct in the marketplace. It does gather attention because it does have a very pristine reputation. It also has a reputation for training its sales agents. And as some of your readers and viewers will know, back in August, we had a change in how a buyer's agent is paid. And we had at least 4 training sessions on that and how to discuss it with a seller and how to discuss it with a buyer. And in this day and age, because everything's getting more complex, including real estate, it's good to have someone on your side who has had the depth of training, who also is very clear in their communication to you and doesn't hold back. It puts everything on the table and is there with you to guide you along the way. Because after all, it's probably one of the most important investments, if not the largest investment that most people make. It's also been the single best way to build wealth. And I always look to help clients even to get into that first house, because once they do, they're paying in mortgage probably maybe what they would have in rent. But if they decide to, file their taxes in a certain way, and I'm not an accountant, check with your accountant, they can write that mortgage off. They can, write off to a certain degree their taxes. And you let the marketplace, as it increases in value, carry your house along with it, so that you end up having more money at the end of 5 years, and it allows you then to go into the next property if you so choose, or to stay there.
Right.
And a lot of people who buy beginner houses, sort of the first home buyer houses or condos, sometimes they will keep those condos and then turn around and rent them. And then they'll buy their slightly bigger house. And all of a sudden they have 2 properties that are helping them build their nest egg for the future. And it is a great way for buyers to be able to do that. And I wish that first-time home buyer credit were still available, because that was a very valuable resource to check out.
Hopefully something like that will come back again real soon. So what who do you like to work with? Who would be a perfect fit for to contact you watching this interview? Who would be a perfect fit to contact you and work with you as a realtor?
Well, I think anybody who maybe has had their house on the market and been frustrated that it hasn't sold, is someone who can, because I use a combination of picking up the phone and talking to other agents, to social media, which is a great way to reach a lot of people, to doing reels. Yes, we're here today. To doing reels on the house, for people. It's all about connection, and it's all about networking, and it's all about finding that needle in a haystack when it comes to a buyer. And so I appreciate working with individuals who may have had some lack of success. New buyers, first-time home buyers, I love working with them and working to help them find. It's not always their dream house, but it's something that they can get into. And again, leverage that later on when hopefully interest rates get lower, or when there's just more opportunity in their lives to buy a little bit more of a house. So I like to say, I every home is somebody's castle, and whether it's $400,000 or $4 million, it is something that I like to do. I've sold about $26 million in the area this year so far, and probably have another 16 or 18 that will close the first part of next year. So I think what people get in me is someone who's very stable in terms of the advice I give, calming, and I work to try to help calm them, because it's a very emotional experience.
It absolutely is. It's one of the most stressful. It can be one of the most stressful times of your life.
It sure can be. It's up there with 2 or 3 others, like divorce and all those other things. But it's also, provides a lot of happiness as well. And to help give them knowledge, you need somebody who knows the market inside and out, who may know that something's coming on, who may know that a buyer is out there, but there's no house yet. And so I keep a spreadsheet. I sound like a nerd, I probably am, but I keep a spreadsheet of all the buyers I have, and also agents and who their buyers might be, not by name, of course, but the agents are by name. And I, have a list of who may want a 2-bedroom, 1.5 bath in downtown Westerly. And that's really important so that you can jump on it. The minute you may see that come on the market.
And I have spoken to several people for whom have been your clients, and I don't think I said that correctly, but who have been your clients, and everybody gives you rave reviews, and you get a lot of praise for the work that you've done with the people in this community who have used you as their real estate professional. And I have actually spoken to you about a rental property before, and you were incredibly kind and professional and wonderful. And so thank you so much for being here. Thank you for continuing to be a wonderful professional who goes above and beyond to help people in this community find their dream homes or sell their home so that they can move on to the next. And thank you so much for that. How can people get a hold of you?
Well, they can call my cell phone. I'm available 24/7, 401-439-0268, or Donna.Simmons at Mott, MOTTANDCHACE.com. Would love to talk to you, and thank you very much, Ben.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Donna Simmons, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank her. I want to thank Lathrop Insurance for sponsoring Business Builders, where we talk to local entrepreneurs and business people who are making it happen in our community. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the game tonight. Bye for now.
Hi, this is Dan from Lathrop Insurance. In this challenging insurance environment, Lathrop Insurance can be your beacon in the storm to help you find the coverage you need at the right price. Now, more than ever, you need a partner in the insurance industry that can work with multiple carriers to make sure you have the right coverage at the right price. Lathrop Insurance carries home, auto, and business insurance and can be reached at 401-596-2525. We've been supporting the local community since 1939, and we look forward to working